Madam President, we'd like to thank the Special Coordinator for the Middle East Peace Process, Tor Wensland, for his comprehensive briefing regarding the situation in the occupied Palestinian territory. We also listened to Ms. Tanya Harry. The unprecedented escalation of violence in the area of the Arab-Israeli conflict remains the focus of international attention. Since the start of the year, as a result of Israeli military raids in the West Bank, in Jenin, Jericho, Nablus, and Huwara, we've seen clashes occurring against the backdrop of breaches of holy sites, the status quo on holy sites in Jerusalem, first and foremost the Al-Aqsa Mosque complex, and the escalation of violence in the Gaza Strip. Owing to all of the above, over 100 Palestinians have died, thousands have been injured. Victims among Israelis are also on the rise. The Israeli Air Force is continuing to conduct indiscriminate strikes on Syria, including shelling Aleppo airport, which is being used to transport humanitarian aid, helping those who were hit hard by the destructive earthquake. We're disquieted by the growing number of incidents on the Blue Line with Lebanon, which culminated in the most intense exchange of rocket fires since 2006. Without a doubt, the triggers of this deterioration in the situation on the ground are the unilateral steps aimed at establishing irreversible facts on the ground and lack of any prospects of peace being resuscitated. I'm referring first and foremost to the record pace of Israeli settlement activity. So far, 7,157 housing units have been approved this year. This is double the figure for 2021 and 2022. There have also been outposts which have been legalized ex post, with the concomitant expropriation of land and demolition of Palestinian homes. What's more is the number of arbitrary arrests of Palestinians is on the rise. Over 2,000 have been detained since the start of the year. Some of them are minors. We've also seen disproportionate use of force and heightened use of socioeconomic pressure being exerted. It's noteworthy that neither the meetings in Aqaba and Sharm el-Sheikh nor the adoption of a presidential statement by the Security Council condemning Israelis' unilateral actions, neither of those produced any tangible effects. Meanwhile, 700 housing units were approved for construction in Givat Hamatos in eastern Jerusalem in April of this year. Under these conditions, Palestinians are increasingly opting for resistance, stepping up efforts to defend their lawful rights in international bodies such as the ICJ, the ICC, the General Assembly, and the UN Security Council. In the International Court of Justice, the UN Security Council, and the General Assembly. The Israel-Palestinian conflict is clearly showing the double standards which our U.S. colleagues espouse. The U.S. states are continuing their unilateral efforts to buck the deterioration trends on the ground by replacing a general political peace with an economic one. Having blocked the work of the Middle Eastern Quartet, they are stubbornly promoting Israeli-Arab normalization, circumventing a fair settlement of the Palestinian issue. The main paradox here is that Washington is vying for the role of being the sole Middle Eastern settlement process sponsor, and yet long ago it lost the qualities that any independent broker, any honest broker must absolutely possess, that is, neutrality and impartiality. The decision of the previous administration to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, as well as the sovereignty of Israel over the Golan Heights, effectively erased the U.S.'s commitment to UN Security Council resolutions and General Assembly resolutions. President, against this worrying backdrop, we cannot but welcome the long-awaited return of the Syrian Arab Republic into the Arab League. We stand convinced that Syria's return to participating in the League of Arab States, it was one of the founders in fact, will help to improve the atmosphere in the Middle Eastern region, including in the area of the Arab-Israeli conflict. The League's decision demonstrated how the Arab world is striving to strengthen coordination of actions with a view to settling the current regional problem through negotiations. We stand convinced that the international community must continue to insist that the only game in town is a relaunch of direct Israeli-Palestinian talks based on international legal frameworks recognized by all to address all final status issues: borders, refugees, water resources, and Jerusalem. Only a genuine resumption of the peace process with the two-state solution as its centerpiece will foster a reduction in violence and radicalization, as well as the rebuilding of mutual trust in the Middle East. Thank you very much.